Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Scott. Thanks for watching, and how's it going? Recently, Superman number 13 was announced, written by Scott Lobdell, and in it, there was going to be a big shakeup to the Superman world. It's been released this week, and there was indeed a big shakeup. Everybody's crazy, everybody's nuts, no one's ever going to read Superman again, everybody hates it, it's the worst thing ever because DC doesn't have any idea how to run Superman. They should hire somebody else, they should give it away, the Seagull should win the lawsuit, everything should be just thrown out the window because no one knows what they're doing with Superman. Well, that's what there is to believe if you look on the internet, if you look on Facebook, if you check out some blogs, if you listen to people who are talking. And mostly those people, from what I can tell, are people who haven't read any of the New 52. They just didn't like the idea of it when it was announced. They boycotted it, they yelled about it, they whined about it, they cried about it. They haven't read it, they haven't looked at it, but they have all the opinions, just like with Man of Steel, the movie coming out. Everybody's seen a couple of things, heard a couple of things, and they go, oh, this movie's going to suck, this book's going to suck, this thing sucks, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. Oh, did you read it? No, I just hate it. Oh, okay. So your credibility is pretty much out the window then. If you haven't read it, if you don't understand the story, if you don't really know what's going on, anytime something is announced, you really can't say anything about it because you don't have anything to stand on. You don't know what's going on, you know, and you're making claims based on what you think. Now, I understand that change is difficult. I've said this before with the whole Lois Lane thing, with the dropping of the briefs, which is just dumb because, I mean, really, who cares whether he has red briefs on the outside of his pants or not? But anyway, people like to see what they're used to seeing, so when it was announced that that was going to go away, people got upset. When it was announced that Lois and Clark weren't going to be married anymore, people got upset. And of course, the news outlets picked up on the Wonder Woman thing and said, Superman drops Lois Lane for Wonder Woman, which is completely untrue because he doesn't have Lois Lane yet. That relationship hasn't started yet. We're earlier in their career, you know. Clark's a little more jaded, I'll give you that. He's a little more upset about the state of the world, but he's not, you know, by any means a different person. He still stands for truth and justice. He still sticks up for the little guy. He still fights against the big guy. He does what he can to make things better, and that's what he's always done. He's the same guy. And now, from the start, from a year ago in Superman #1, when Morgan Edge bought the Daily Planet and turned it into a multimedia conglomerate, they have internet section, they have TV section, and they have print. And print, we all know in the real world, is something that's kind of phasing out. There are magazines shutting down all over the place. There are newspapers closing down. People are getting their news for free. They're checking it out on the internet. They're watching it on television. They're also seeing it in newspapers. They're still in existence, but they're nowhere near the big thing that they were when Superman was created back in the 30s. So they're trying to modernize it a little bit, which they did in the 80s. So, and again, this is, you know, people make a big deal about, oh, it's not unprecedented. Both Lois and Clark have left the Daily Planet before, multiple times, one of which, similar to this, in a way, is that they went to WGBS to be news anchors on television, which is similar to being a reporter on a paper, but you're not writing, as opposed to, you know, you write your own copy a lot of times, and you talk about the story on television, and that's kind of what they did then. And now, but there's been a story in place for almost over a year. Clark is very much against the management of the Daily Planet. He knows that Morgan Edge only cares about sensationalism. He knows he's going for the entertainment value. He knows he's a rumor monger, and he doesn't stand for that kind of thing. Now, why? Anybody who knows Clark Kent, anybody who has been a superhero fan, Superman fan, knows that he wouldn't continue to work in a place that he felt was dishonest, lying continuously to the public and misleading them into panic and into being upset. You know, one of the stories that Clark was on a few months ago, Morgan Edge reported that some guy was Superman, and people showed up at his house and started smashing windows. A bad guy went there and planned on killing him. And this was because Morgan Edge released a story that was completely untrue, just because it would be entertaining and it would be exciting and it would sell papers. Look who Superman is, and it wasn't. And Morgan Edge didn't care. He had no proof, but he didn't care. And Clark has since decided that he doesn't want to work at a place like that anymore, and I think that it perfectly fits his character, and he'll be back, I assume, once they clear out this Morgan Edge situation, and once he, finds out who Edge really is, and we've seen him be a complete villain before, and I imagine that that'll be the way it goes, but right now he's the villain in that he's not standing for things that Clark would stand for. And people have complained for years that there aren't enough Clark Kent stories. There aren't enough Clark Kent monologues. There isn't enough of the character of who he is as opposed to wearing his uniform and going around stopping bad guys. And now we get that, and people complain about that too. And the truth is, this is not just some stunt that they're doing to sell books, this month. It's been in place for a while. It's been months of setup, and it makes complete sense in a story context. And I like it. So, check it out if you want. Don't if you don't. But if you haven't read something, if you haven't watched something, namely Man of Steel, the movie, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to state what your opinion is on what you think it might be and how it's going to be terrible or how it's bad or how it's not Superman. If you haven't read it or haven't watched it, you can't really say that. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, when I was brought up, I was meant to stand for truth and justice. And yeah, I'm not ashamed to say it, the American way. And that's the way it's always going to be.